All right, you guys know what that hard rockin' Madison Rising music means, right? Well, it means it's time to start another episode of Student of the Gun Radio. And I am your host, Professor Paul Markle, coming to you from the Glass Case of Emotion Studios on the sunny Gulf Coast of Biloxi, Mississippi, that is. And my co-host, my producer, the man with the plan is Jared. Jared, how you doing over there, buddy?
I'm doing well today. Today is Thursday?
It is Thursday.
Yes. Wow.
We ran out of time so fast yesterday. It was insane. It was crazy, insane, retarded.
Insane in the membrane.
Insane in the membrane. I guess they can't use that. They can't play that song on the University of. They can't play 311 on the University of
Duke.
No,
Is it Duke?
Michigan, University of Michigan.
Oh, is it Michigan?
They have the new "Thou shalt not speaketh these words" because it. What does it do? It diminishes the experience of insane people.
Whatever.
I love that terminology because it diminishes the experience of being insane.
How about I diminish your experience of life?
Oh, come on now. You're just a mean guy. That's why we need to ban guns, to stop mean people from like you from having them. So that way only criminals and the state will have them, and you'll be in the middle. But, folks, we're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about more academic psychobabble. Yesterday we talked about the new strategy to convince the sheep, not you, but to convince your neighbors who are mindless sheep and just read the headlines, that concealed carry is bad because it's going to cost us millions, and it's going to jeopardize cancer research because allowing people to carry guns, wow. How far down the stupid trail do you have to go to come up with an argument against concealed carry that it's going to cost cancer research? It's going to defund cancer research. I don't even know. But we've got even more. If you were wondering, should I get my kids out of public schools? Should I homeschool my children? Should I send them to a private academy? Should I get active and involved in my local school district and my school board and my PTA, and not just myself, but all of my right-thinking friends as well? Should I do that? I don't know. But, folks, we pointed this out. It wasn't just me, and there's been dozens of intellectuals who came along long before I picked up the black carbon steel microphone to let you know or remind you or keep you aware of the fact that the college campus in the United States of America is not so much an institute of learning as it is an institute for indoctrination. That is what it's become. That, we mentioned that the 60s, the decade that everything changed. You remember that, Jared? We posted the photo, those nitwits at Life magazine. I don't know who's buying Life magazine anymore. Apparently hippies. But they put a black and white montage photo with, it was a collage of Beatles and Kennedy and all this in the rockets of the lunar landings, and so all these historical black and white photos from the decade of the 60s, and that was their title, The 60s, the decade that everything changed for the worse. And I'm going to go ahead and go on record here or affirm the fact that it was in the 1960s that the college campus started and began transforming from an institute or institutions of learning, of higher education, where they actually had standards and you had to learn and demonstrate that knowledge back to the professors and the staff so you could pass. So when you left college, they knew that you really knew what you were talking about. Back in the olden times, a century ago, when a college-educated person actually was educated, not just indoctrinated into the hippie liberal puke-face doctrine. But that's what's going on today in the United States of America. Do I need to tell you that there are people in America, there are people that are living in the United States of America, not necessarily citizens, I almost said citizens, but that are attending colleges that have come here from other countries, and they come here, they attend our schools, But that's not good enough, and they don't appreciate the fact that they've been allowed into our glorious nation to attend our universities and get an education that apparently they couldn't get where they came from because that's why they came here. But they want to stir up trouble. They want to insult us. And we've got an excellent story that highlights this fact from the People's Republic of California. And this is what happens when you're reasonable and when you just allow evil to exist. And I was thinking to myself, like, evil, yeah, evil. And you'll see why. But I was thinking to myself, what kind of I was looking for a Trader theme song, and there actually is a song called The Trader, and I listened to it, and it really didn't blow my skirt up. But this song right here, this intro, I want you to listen closely and try not to be scared when Jared plays it. But this is going to be our evil update theme.
Woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil sends the beast with wrath, because he knows the time is short. Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number. Its number is 666.
I left alone. My mind was blank.
Folks, for those of you that don't know, that was off of The Number of the Beast from Iron Maiden. And people are, I'm a child of the 80s. I was born in the 60s and grew up in elementary school in the 70s and went to high school in the 80s. And I remember when that album came out, and the Southern Baptist preachers were just apoplectic. They were beside themselves. And they pulled that out, and they played that, and they said, this proves that this band, Iron Maiden, that they're devil worshipers. They worship the devil, and yada, yada, yada. And they're like, that just proves it right there. I'm like, hey, buddy, you realize that what Vincent Price, and that was Vincent Price's voice, rest his soul, that was him quoting, or loosely quoting, Revelation 13:18. And all you biblical scholars out there know that the revelation was revealed in a dream to John, and he wrote it all down, and it was basically a warning to mankind that what is to come, an explanation. So, yeah, essentially you had Baptist preachers that were freaking and pulling their hair out and burning record albums because it was devil worship, and their argument for that was that they quoted, well, of course they never said, oh, that's a quote from the Bible, that's why it's devil worship. They're just like, that proves it, see, they proves it. I'm like, dude, okay, calm down. Now, and Zach recently asked me, he goes, well, who is the beast and the Antichrist? Is the Antichrist the devil? And I believe that the Revelation says no, that the Antichrist is not Satan. The Antichrist is the minion of Satan, or it's someone here on earth that is doing his bidding. And what we've got right here, we've got a story, and if this doesn't make your blood boil and make you angry, I really don't know what will. And this story's actually been forwarded to us. It was forwarded to us in all kinds of different, a Fox News story, a CBS News story. There was like one from conservative-something.com. It's been circulating and making the rounds of the internet. The story we've got right here is cbslosangeles.com. And the title, UC, that would be University of California, Irvine Student Leadership Panel votes to remove American flag from campus. I'm sorry, what did you say? I thought I just heard some liberal hippie puke face. What was that now? Dateline, Irvine. Students at UC Irvine have voted. It says students, Jared. Do you see how it starts out? The first paragraph is a lie. Well, it's a half lie. Students at UC Irvine have voted for a more inclusive space, that's in quotes, by banning the American flag on parts of the campus. Under Resolution R50-70 passed Thursday, the Associated Students of UCI voted to remove all flags, including Old Glory, from Student Government Workroom on campus, according to Associated Students website. Okay. A portion of the resolution reads, flags construct paradigms of conformity and set homogeneous standards. Oh, my God.
The three
What is the name of this?
The three standards that they said
Academic psychobabble.
Yeah, but the three standards that they said it sets for this nation, they're wrong.
This is what happens when you pay money for your kids to go to the University of California, Irvine, or any other puke-face hippie liberal campus. They construct a paradigm of conformity that sets homogenized standards for others to obtain, which in this country typically are idolized as freedom, equality, and democracy. What? Okay, first of all, the ideas of freedom, democracy, and equality, those are now bad things that we have to force on people. It says
I would change those to liberty,
yeah,
equality, and something like a republic or something.
Yeah, well,
democracy.
we know. I know. People don't understand. Another student, Matthew Guevara, who was the first puke face? Where was it? Quote? It doesn't say.
The main one author
here we go.
is Matthew Guevara.
Authored.
Second is Khalida Sydney.
What? No. What? How is this? What's this person's name?
Khalida Sydney.
Khalida?
It's a chick. Khalidah.
And and it says the message posted on the Facebook page evening by ASUCI President Reza Zamoredian. What? Where are they coming up with these names from here? Apparently Zamoredian is against this. And here's the deal, folks. A few puke faces, like 6 on this council, voted for this. There's thousands of students at UCI. And the way the story reads, the first paragraph, if you were like 90% of all the knuckleheads in America that only read the headline in the first paragraph and then base your thoughts upon that, this is what you would see. UC Irvine Student Leadership Panel votes to remove thing, blah, blah, blah. And then it says, students at UC Irvine have voted for a more inclusive space by banning the American flag. All right, here's what I'm going to tell you, UC Irvine useful idiots. Cool. You want to take the American flag off of your campus? Okay, cool. Let's do that. Go ahead and remove it. Remove it from all student government, this, that, blah, 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 blah. You no longer will receive one single penny from the state government or from the federal government, because that's my money, you puke-face scumbag. You want to do that? Cool. 100% of the federal funding and the state funding for you will be removed from the college. You can't do that. You can't take away our money. How much state and federal money do you think is pumped into this institution of liberal propaganda? Jared, would you say a pretty fair amount? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think that you don't want the flag? You don't like the flag? It's because it forces people to idolize freedom, equality, and democracy, and we can't have that. It constructs a paradigm. Jared, if I ever say the words "it constructs a paradigm of conformity," you have my permission to smack me.
I'm going to go ahead and lock you in that case. So my question is, if their end goal is to be more inclusive to everybody, why would they not have all of the flags?
No,
because
that.
I
you
know
want all the flags.
What I'm saying
go to the UN.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is America. We have an American flag. You're in America getting an education. I can't say what I was going to say because this isn't the bonus hour.
Yeah, we could have said
However,
bonus hour. But.
I'm going to read. I'm looking at the bill right now, and it says there's like a bunch of. It says whereas blah 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 blah.
Psychobabble crap.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of reasons or whatever. It says whereas freedom of speech is a valued right that ASUCI supports, and then the next one says. Whereas freedom of speech in a space that aims to be as inclusive as possible can be interpreted as hate speech.
So, yeah, the American flag is now interpreted as hate. Who could Who looks at the United
No.
the
Freedom of speech itself can be interpreted as hate speech. That's what that said.
freedom of speech can be interpreted as hate
Yep.
speech?
Freedom of speech in a space that aims to be as inclusive as possible can be interpreted as hate speech. I don't even know how. Bleh.
Every one of these puke-faced scumbags need to be removed.
And there's 12 people total that voted. 6 yeah, 4 nay, and 2 ABS.
2 abstained.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, you've got 6 traitors, you've got 4 patriots, and then you have 2 potential, I guess, Republican Party Republican Party leaders. They're just going to abstain. So you're a coward. Okay, I got that. Sounds like the Republican Party leadership in Washington, D.C. right now. Folks,
Whereas a common ideological understanding of the United States includes American exceptionalism and superiority.
yeah, why are you here? Why are you going to college in America? Why are you going to college in the United States? Why don't you go to college in Iran? Why don't you go to college in Syria? Why don't you go to college in any other place? Go to college in Laos. Oh, hey, you don't know. Quit, digging on the Laotian. Go to college in, I don't know. Go anywhere else. If we're so oppressive and so racist and so filled with hate speech. The great thing, someone wrote on our Facebook wall, he said, the great thing about the United States of America is that you can leave anytime you want. There are no fences and machine gun towers stopping you from leaving. Get on a plane, get on a boat, and go away.
Wow.
All right, I'm all done talking about this.
I'm going to post this, or I'm going to put it in the show notes, a link to the exact bill, so Zach can put it in the show notes on studentgunradio.com. I want you guys to go there, click on this link, and read all of these.
The psychobabble?
The reasons.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, I don't even know. Obviously, they're not Americans.
These are people that are so
yeah.
impressed with themselves. They're so impressed with the paradigm. Oh, gosh. All right, let's move on. And we've got academic psychobabble. So we have, quote, students voting to remove the American flag. Now we have a professor who has just gotten himself a fright. And Jared's going to go ahead, and we haven't used this one in a while, but it's going to be our public school psychological terror update theme.
When we grew up and went to school, there were certain teachers who would hurt children anyway.
Yeah, this story comes to us from thedailycaller.com, and there's so much in this one single story. And again, it's got us fighting amongst ourselves. But what the heck? Let's just go ahead and dive right into it. School choir director and college professor freaks out and calls cops on a man legally carrying a gun. All right, what's going on? A Michigan man was not acting erratically or threatening other people at an Ann Arbor High School musical recital, but he was openly and legally carrying a firearm. Now, I know I just lost about half of you. About half of you just threw your hands in the air and you said, see, that's why these idiots that are open carrying, that's why they're wrong. That's why they're our biggest enemy. That's why they're our biggest detriment. They're bringing us down, these open carry idiots. Stop yourself for a second and listen. Openly and legally carrying a firearm. It says that was enough for a school choir director to call the police and for the music professor to publicly shame him at the event.
That's why he's a choir professor.
The incident happened Thursday evening at Pioneer High School, and the date line on this, it'd probably be about 1 week ago by the time we got to this. Yeah, the date line is 3/6/2015. Okay. The incident happened Thursday evening at Pioneer High School when Stephen Lawrence, the director of choirs at the school spotted the man openly carrying a gun and called the police because he saw a gun. And apparently the guy was just going to carry it around openly and then at some point in the future decide to pull it out and do something bad with it. Apparently, okay. As Michigan Live reported, police arrived to investigate and determined that the man had not broken the law. Read that again. The police arrived and determined that the man had not broken the law. Good thing he didn't overshoot his time, his 90 seconds at the PTO meeting. He would have been arrested. While it's illegal for citizens, this is the nut. Listen up. While it is illegal for citizens with pistol licenses to carry concealed weapons on state or on school grounds, license holders can open carry, says Ann Arbor Police Sergeant Shane Dennis, quoted on Michigan Live. But that was not good enough for one event attendee, University of Michigan Flint music professor. Here we go, Jared. What is up with U of M? What is up with U of M? It's turned into... I was born in Detroit. I was raised to revere the University of Michigan. All of my uncles and cousins and my dad, they were all U of M fans. Go Blue. Wolverines. But that was not good enough for one event attendee, University of Michigan Flint music professor Brian de Blasio. Well, there's a strike against him right there. His last name is de Blasio. There's another communist in America named de Blasio. De Blasio photographed the man carrying the holstered gun and updated his picture to Facebook, okay, along with 2 breathless posts. Jared, do you want to read the breathless posts?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do this.
The professor wrote in his first missive,
"There's an idiot with a handgun with 2 magazines attending the Ann Arbor Pioneer Choral
Cavalcade. It's a choral cavalcade.
Yeah. Anyway, sitting in the
so
10th
special.
row. Yeah, sitting in the 10th row. Police came in droves, escorted him out to interview him in the hallway, and could do nothing based on his permit. He's now back listening to the 8th grade girl singing Hey Jude."
That's a problem. My first experience.
My first experience witnessing this ridiculous show of I don't know what. Who does this at an event with hundreds of children? Who does this anywhere? America.
Oh.
You're an idiot.
And then, he was still incensed. His panties were so twisted up in his little man crack there that he had to post another one. His second post included a man's picture and other identifying information. De Blasio said that the man is the grandson of former superintendent of Ann Arbor. Well, this guy seems to know an awful lot about this dude.
Man crush.
Yeah. All right, go ahead and give the second tirade here.
Yeah, his second post here said, "I decided that the parents of 200-plus junior high and high school students might want to know that they had someone with a military weapon."
Ooh, is it a military weapon? Really? How do you know, you pansy?
"Replete with rounds of ammo." Watching... Yeah.
It's replete with rounds of ammo.
Ooh.
You mean there's ammunition in the gun?
That's a big word for him, I think.
That's a big word for you.
He's watching their kids sing. He was in the front row. I thought he said he was in the 10th row.
Well, whichever,
Well, whatever.
Whatever makes you happy.
After the last song about global unity and peace from the Olympics.
Oh, well, that's wrong right there, too.
I got up on my soapbox, literally. It was a theater box, and announced as much to the entire audience. What? That made no sense. And announced as much to the entire audience.
But that the guy was there with a military weapon replete with rounds of ammo. Are your guns, the ones you're carrying right now, are they replete with rounds of ammo? I think they are. I think my guns are replete with rounds of ammo. But go on. The former deputy superintendent.
Yeah. In the lobby, redacted, the former deputy superintendent for business affairs for Ann Arbor Public Schools lectured me on how wrong it was for me to disrupt a public event, in quotation or in parentheses, disrupting people exiting the auditorium. That was a question.
Yeah.
Soon after, I heard who brought the weapon into the concert. or I learned who brought the weapon into the concert. Grandson. Oh,
Pocket phone in
Wow.
the pocket. I don't know. All right, here's the deal, dude.
That one was confusing.
Yeah, you're. These people are so. All right, how many things do we have to talk about here? Well, number one. Let's talk about why this guy felt the need to open carry. And all of you anti-open carry people out there, you're like, see, this proves it. Well, first of all, if your argument against open carry is because some she-male, you know that people took umbrage to my use of the word he/she when describing this event. Like, with sexual, sexist tirade. It was a sexist tirade. Look, this person is obviously not a man, but not obviously a woman either. So how do you describe a creature that is not a man, but is also not a woman? I don't know. Give me the correct verbiage, Jared. Isn't he, she? Doesn't that help? Or I could call it Z. I could call it an XE. What do you think? Or it, whatever. So this she-male type person here is peeing in her panties and posting on Facebook. I'm sure that all your 420 followers are just so excited from the University of Michigan. But let's talk about why exactly this guy is, quote, open carrying. Well, he's open carrying because he made the mistake of following the law. Whoa, stop, Paul. What? There's no such thing as mistakenly following the law. You follow the law because it's the law. Okay. The guy's open carrying because he wants to be armed, which is his right, even if Mr. de Blasio doesn't understand that. Is it de Blasio that posted all these things? Okay, yeah. Okay. But it was somebody else that called the police, the choir director, whatever. It doesn't matter. The reason this guy is open carrying is because the law prohibits him from covering the gun up. Riddle me this, Batman. Who writes these kind of laws? Who writes a law that says, well, you're not allowed to concealed carry it, but you can open carry it instead? And then it leads to all this like ninny antics here, calling the police. And if this dude would have just had a quality concealment holster, would have put his gun on, covered it up with his sport coat or his jacket or sweatshirt or whatever, and gone, he could have gone about his business. Nobody would have been in the wiser. But you know why he didn't do that? Because he knew, or someone told him, you can't do that. It'll be against the law. You'll be breaking the law. And so this guy is so worried about this is who Mr. de Blasio or Ms. de Blasio is worried about. He's worried about a guy who is so concerned with following the law that he won't cover the gun up because it would be wrong. So he's following the law by open carrying. Well, he shouldn't have had a gun. He shouldn't have had a gun. You know what? You shouldn't have a phone, you shouldn't have a pen, and you shouldn't have access to our children, you freak. So that's part of it. So we've got that, and then we have the blatant hoplophobia here that seeing a gun is just sends people into like hissy fits. So you've got that. I don't even know what to say. The University of Michigan is just. Are you folks out there? You sending your kids to college? You paying for your kids to go to college? When you write the check every month or every quarter for your kids' housing and food and tuition and all that stuff, do you realize that these are the puke-faced scumbags? Oh, but de Blasio says he's fine with I'm otherwise fine with people owning guns. Shut up. Go. Shut up. You're an idiot. You are a moron, and I don't want to talk to you anymore. Well, we're running out of time, and I want to get to this next story because this kind of puts the frosting on the cake as far as people being afraid of guns. But before we move on, number one, Jared, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors. I want to thank Excess Sites and SWAT Fuel. Excess Sites, the fastest sites in any light. SWAT Fuel at SWATfuel.com. If you go on there, make a purchase, use the promo code. You know what it is. What is it? It's SOTG2014.
I believe you can do 2015 since it's 2015 now.
Can you?
Yeah, it works. We had somebody email us and say, hey, I just tried this because
they updated it to 05 or 15?
They both work.
2015, 14, 15. Okay.
So if one doesn't work, try the other.
Brownells
I'm
at
pretty sure they both work.
Brownells.com. If you own a gun, Brownells has something for you. And I believe that our good friends at Velocity Triggers are now selling their. Do me a favor. Go to Brownells.com and see if you can buy a Velocity Trigger. I know that our buddy Tom was talking with them about selling Velocity Triggers at Brownells in addition to at VelocityTriggers.com. But you can always get them. They're designed for precision. If you want to put a new trigger in your AR-15, you want to make it a little bit more precise or a little easier to use, you can do that. So did you come up with it?
My computer's thinking.
Oh, it's thinking?
I chose the slow computer.
Oh,
for
that's
some
good.
reason.
That's cool. All right, folks, we really do appreciate you being there, though, out in the Student of the Gun listening audience. All of you guys who have downloaded the Student of the Gun mobile app, we do appreciate that as well.
I don't see it yet.
Okay, well, maybe it's not there yet, so that's cool. But mobile app, if you haven't downloaded it yet, go ahead and take advantage of that. You can do it to your iPhone, your iPad, your Android phone. Go to Google Play. It's free, thanks to our friends at Century
One box
Arms.
workout is on there for you.
That's right, the one box workout. You know, take your phone or your tablet to the range with you, open it up, and it'll just walk you right through the skill maintenance drill. How cool is that? This last story we're going to talk about right here, and this fits in with the whole hoplophobia, the whole thing about, kids shouldn't be around guns, and kids shouldn't see guns, and kids shouldn't even know that guns exist. Well, but they do know guns exist. Well, no, but we want to make sure that kids are afraid of guns, and that is the goal. The goal is to make our children afraid of guns. And we haven't used this for a couple of days, so we're going to go ahead and, because the story comes to us, it's not only is it a psychological terror update, but it's also a slave state update. And since we already did the psycho terror, let's go ahead and bump it in with the slave state.
I like to teach you all the rules. I get to see them set in stone. I like it when you chain me to the bed, but then you see it's never.
All right, you guys remember a little story that I told, I don't know, last year? Yeah, it was last year sometime, about my own personal experience as a police officer, going to my daughter's class, second grade class, to do the officer-friendly thing, wearing my uniform and talking to little second grade kids about wear your seatbelt and, all that kind of happy nonsense that you do. And I was always glad to do it. I did it for Jared when he was a little kid. I went in and did the officer-friendly thing. Oh, your dad's a policeman.
I think you stuck me in the back of your cruiser, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I locked you in the back of the
cruiser. Yeah, I remember that specifically.
Yeah. And, I drove the car to school and put you in the back of the cruiser, and all the kids giggled, and they thought it was fun. Well, the story that I shared with you guys was the fact that when it was time to talk to my daughter's class, they had a new principal, female person, and the female person principal thought it would be a great idea for me to come in uniform to talk to the kids, but she wanted to know if I could just not bring my gun with me. And I said, no. That's part of the uniform, and when I wear the uniform, I wear the gun. And if there's a problem with that, well, no, we just wondered if you could just not do that. And we talked about it on the air here. Well, guess what? They've taken that to a whole new level. BaltimoreSun.com is our source for this story. City delegation rejects guns in schools for police, and you're like, what? The story is from Aaron Cox and Erica Green for the Baltimore Sun. Officers in the Baltimore school system's police force, these would be, I guess, RSOs, or SROs, school resource officers. These are cops that are specifically designated to be in the schools, not ones that are just happen to be visiting or what have you. So, officers in the Baltimore school system's police force won't be able to carry guns inside the schools anytime soon. The city's delegation in Annapolis effectively killed legislation Friday that would have lifted the prohibition. I didn't know this existed, but it doesn't surprise me. It's Maryland. They're slaves. What do you expect from slaves? Slaves are afraid of guns. Putting an end to a contentious debate that divided the community. What? You people, you folks up there, God, you're so stupid and weak. It makes me want to throw up. So for the time being, Baltimore school police will remain the only police officers in the state that are forbidden to have firearms within the public school while classes are in session. So basically this, they have an SRO program, a program where they have cops that are designated to be in the schools, which is just a really sad state of affairs for the United States of America that we have to have police officers in our schools because we're raising, let's face it, folks, we're raising a generation, and we have been raising a generation of amoral animals. Yes, I said it. We're raising a generation of children that are essentially amoral animals. It's all about me, I. Whatever I want, I'm going to take it. I'm going to steal it. I'm going to do this because it's all about me. I have no morals. I wasn't raised by two parents. Shut your mouth, Paul. Shut your mouth. It's true, and it leads to this kind of nonsense. And let me see. We've got a quote from a delegate. It says, "We couldn't come up with a consensus," said Delegate Kurt Anderson, chairman of the city's House delegation, explaining the decision. Anderson, a Democrat, had sponsored the bill at the city board's request. The delegation unanimously decided to table the discussion, so they just didn't vote on it. Yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. And there's a bunch of, there's like pictures of people. There's some people that have signs that say, "I support school police." And then there's another picture that says, there's another one that says, "Students are not criminals," or something stupid like that. Well, hey, Jude, we didn't talk about that earlier, but that's what no one wrote in that story from the previous one. No one seemed to have a problem with the "Hey Jude" and the peace and global unity song. I think that really, in the previous story, Jerry, I think that's really the issue at hand, is why do you have an 8th grade choir singing "Hey Jude"? They should have put the brakes on it right there. But whatever. Yeah, we had, I don't know where the pictures went. You know how these news stories are online. They have like refreshing pictures and supporting documents. But anyway, yeah, there's a cardboard sign, and it was a woman standing out in front of the school with a cardboard sign, and it wrote on it, "Students are not criminals." Well, apparently, ma'am, some of the students actually are criminals, because if they weren't, you wouldn't need to be spending hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars a year by putting cops inside your kids' schools. So they've got police in the schools, and the police that are in the schools are prohibited from having firearms on their persons. Because why? Jared, why would you prohibit now, are these not real police officers? Are they pretend police officers? Are they like just some dudes that they found on the street and they're like, "Hey man, we got these blue uniforms. They're made out of polyester and they look kind of cool. You want one?" Yeah. School police officials have acknowledged that officers often carry their weapons anyway. Despite it? I don't understand this. It makes my brain hurt. So the mentality behind putting cops into the schools but forcing them to be disarmed is what? What is that mentality, Jared? What are you trying to tell the kids when you put a police officer in the school but you forbid the police officer from having a gun? What are you telling those kids?
Guns are bad.
That guns are bad.
So it says here that the officers have jurisdiction throughout the city and can carry firearms while patrolling outside school grounds or when detailed to help the BPD with major events. So
they are real policemen.
They
have
are real
actual
policemen,
arrest powers.
But my another concern is that the police officers are going to be fiddling with their guns. If they're off school grounds, or while they're outside school grounds, they can have their gun on. But then when they want to go inside of the school, I guess.
So we're playing the school. Remember what did dude? This just my mind just went.
So now criminals are going to know where to find the guns.
Well-
If there's a police cruiser, obviously there's going to be a gun in it.
No, what they probably have is they probably spent tens of thousands of dollars to install these special lockers like they have in. Where do they have, Jared? Where do they have special lockers?
Prison?
Yeah, jails and prisons.
Well, you know what?
James, yeah. What? Go ahead and drop it, brother.
He said that
And now, who is
James
This
is-
James is a. Don't say his last name, but he's a what? What does he do for a living?
he is a
State Highway Patrol.
yes. I was trying to figure out if it was sheriff or state highway.
No, he's a
patrol.
state highway patrol
State highway
officer.
patrol officer, and he is a bona fide good guy. He understands all this stuff, and he was telling me about how he is very involved in his child's schooling. His child goes to public school for whatever reason, but he's said that the teachers and the principal know who he is, and that's how it should be. Every parent should be known to the school. And he was telling me about how the PTA meetings are sad because there's like 4 parents that show up from the whole school, and I know there's more than 4 children going to the school. But anyway,
Get to the-
my,
yeah, get to
my
the
point
point.
is that he said the prison system and the school system are pretty much the exact same. They have them walking along the lines. They have the lunch lines just exactly the same. The only difference is the line at the school is yellow and the line at the prison is orange or something like that.
Yeah,
The only
is
difference is
red.
the color of the line.
Yeah. Yeah, he put it together. He said, the schools are run like prisons. They're run like the prison system.
Well, so that way when the children grow up and they go back to
They're
prison,
used
they
to-
know
they're
exactly
used
what to
it.
do.
Oh, you're a racist. Yeah, and it says here, others contend that weapons make students feel like criminals. Really? So seeing a cop with a pistol makes a kid feel like a criminal? And it says, goes on, in a city where many need a reprieve from the presence of guns. Presence of guns owned and carried by whom? By scumbags, by felons, by criminals, by gangs? Why do you live in a city that's plagued with gang violence? Maybe because you keep voting for puke faces that have a capital D behind their name. Maybe that could be. Maybe because you're a slave. Sorry if it hurts your feelings, but folks, I'm tired of this crap. I'm tired of this psychobabble, this nonsense that, we can't allow children to see guns because that hurts their feelings. We're going to put police officers, then get the cops out of the schools. We can't do that. Why not? Well, because they're selling drugs in the schools and they're not. Well, that sounds like you got a big problem. It sounds like there's a problem that you folks up in Maryland need to fix. In Baltimore, what's the crime rate in Baltimore? What's the gang violence rate like in Baltimore? Who runs the city of Baltimore? People with capital D's behind their name? How's all that liberalism working out for you folks up there in Baltimore? Oh, it's not working yet, but we're just going to keep voting for those people because they promised us that if we vote for them, that they're going to fix things. Because we're comfortable slaves. And that's exactly what you've got up here. You have a whole bunch of comfortable slaves arguing amongst themselves over whether police officers should be allowed to carry guns. And like Jared said, that leads to people in uniforms constantly arming and disarming themselves. I'll be armed today, disarmed tomorrow. Armed this afternoon, disarmed tonight. I'll be disarmed this morning, but I'll be armed in the afternoon. Let me take my gun on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. Stop it. You're a moron. You're an idiot. And if you're this is what I can't fathom here. I can see, Jared, these puke-faced liberal scumbags having these thoughts, we shouldn't allow. How as a chief of police do you say that's okay? How as a chief of police do you say, oh yeah, well, all right, I'll send my police officers in there, but I'll make sure they don't have guns on.
He probably pockets some of the funding that's
No,
supposed to go to
what
the
it is
school.
no, they're politicians in these big cities. The chief, like Gary the Enforcer, and the dude up in New York and in Boston, they're all politicians. They just do whatever they're told. They don't have any morals. Oh, how can you say that? Well, if you're a police chief and you're telling your officers to take off their guns but walk around in their polyester uniforms with their badges on, you are a politician. You are a scumbag. You are a tool and a useful idiot. Sorry. And if it hurts your feelings, come see me and we'll talk about your feelings. There is lots of air and opportunity here at Student of the Gun University and Fight U. Is that not correct, Jared?
There's tons of air and opportunity here.
All right, for those of you that are public listeners, it's Thursday, so we'll talk to you again on Monday. For the grad program people, we're going to be back tomorrow. And Jared, if they sign up for the grad program, do they get to listen to the old episode, the one with Ken?
Yeah, if you're a public listener and you're not subscribed to the grad program, today is the last day that you can get the Ken Blanchard interview. Go to studentofthegunradio.com and sign up. Click on the grad program, little banner there. Sign up for it, and you'll get the Ken Blanchard interview from last Friday.
As well as the new one, as well as the Tactical Tutor newsletter, as well as all the exclusive behind-the-scenes insider stuff. And it's cool. You want to do it. All right, folks, thanks for joining us for yet another week of Student of the Gun Radio. Remember, you're a student for life.